slicker than your average YouTuber, and much realer than the compliments losers. The phony, fake, lying algorithm abusers, sub-buying bums and baseball cap users. Vintage fragrances coming out of my arse, a high-ranking member of the English upper class. Pass the Pilsner and I'll crack it open. The other pussy YouTubers are hoping I'll disappear like their integrity did, but I'm still firing shots just like Billy the Kid. I got a sawn off in the car and a gat in my pocket. Every time I address the world, I shock it. Cause I'm out of control, like a Chinese virus. Dating Margot Robbie and Miley Cyrus. Cause I'm lethal, like a cyanide pill. Holding up liquor stores and emptying the till. Rolex watches and Creed colognes. Private jets and ice cream cones. With a chocolate flake, that's how I roll. A line of cocaine and a sausage roll. A fried breakfast with a glass of whiskey. I don't care if you think that's risky, cause I'm sick, like a dog with rabies. All the female YouTubers wanna have my babies. Hello folks and welcome back to the show today. I'm going to talk about why I don't really like most of the other fragrance YouTubers out there. Aren't I horrible doing all these negative videos recently? But I did one about why I don't trust anyone in the fragrance community, and that was okay. People responded well to that. I will give you 3 great fragrances that I think are really fun to check out if you haven't tried them for this autumn winter time. But let's get into it. So, subject to the video, why I don't really like that many of the other fragrance YouTubers. I've got to be honest, I don't have a great feeling towards that many of them. And that's a really unpleasant thing to say. What a nasty, negative person I am. Okay, number of reasons for this. Let's have a look at those reasons. Okay, number 1, it has become very, very bland and repetitive, the way that people seem to think that they must make videos in order to be successful. So the big channels out there, as you can all see if you look at the videos that get the most views, it is just endless lists of things. And there are people doing daily videos of 10 fragrances for this, 10 fragrances for that, and 10 fragrances for the other. And of course, if that's proving to be successful and the algorithm likes that, you can't really blame them. These are people who've got really big channels, 100,000 plus subscribers, which is big in our little fragrance world, and they're making a living from this. Undoubtedly, it will be their job, I think. And so you can't blame them, but it really is just, I cannot imagine why anyone would be subscribed to one of these channels and watch every day the new video about 10 different fragrances for something. I honestly don't get it. And it's not sour grapes. I wish them well. I cannot understand. So I'm not saying that I don't like the individuals who do it. I respect them, but I don't enjoy this kind of content. And I have to say, I think of all the different YouTube things that I watch, I watch things about wristwatches, I watch things about politics, I watch things reviewing fast food, and I just think that one of the least creative areas in YouTube seems to be the fragrance community. It really is. There are very few channels that do anything different and stand out from the others, and it just seems to be such a bland formula that seems to be the only way you can get success. Or is it? That's the question. Can I try and do something different? When I'm calling this Mr. Smelly's fragrance reviews and life views. Let's talk about other stuff. Let's talk about watches. Let's talk about culture. Let's talk about other things a bit. Can we do that in a channel? I don't know. Perhaps not. My watch of the day today is the Omega Seamaster late 80s model, a quartz model. 40mm version. Really like that wristwatch. So I'm going to try and be different, okay? I mean, I'm not really succeeding by copying the others anyway, because my top 10s get a lot less views than theirs, so I may as well try and be myself. Anyway, so that's why I don't really like them, first of all. The actual type of videos they make for the big successful channels, so boring. The other kind of channels you get there are smaller ones where people have a lot of integrity, but sometimes those ones who have a little bit of a cult following, they can be awfully pretentious assholes. So you get these people, maybe they're specifically into vintage, or they're really into a couple of weird niche brands, and they really are kind of gatekeepers. They don't have a lot of charisma, and they really seem, they know a bit more than the other YouTubers in terms of their knowledge of the fragrances and maybe appreciation of how the things are actually made and the composition and the notes and stuff. But it's just too anal. It really is so boring and pedantic the way these people drone on about fragrances in depth. So that's at the other extreme. And of course, the thing I forgot to level at the other ones, a lot of the people with the bigger channels frankly don't have any education in fragrances. There's no great skill in what they're doing. Anyone can read out the notes that are listed on Fragrantica or wherever, and they really are no more expert on a fragrance than you or I. I should be an expert too, but I don't claim to be, at least. But these people, some of the biggest channels have zero real training in the field of fragrances. So when you get these people who are a little bit more into understanding all the notes and the composition and maybe have experimented with making fragrances themselves, trouble is, some of them can be so boring and pretentious, and I just don't like them as people, and they are just lacking in charisma, and also they don't make any effort. At least these big channels are quite slick in the production, and they do a few cuts and stuff, but these guys just don't evolve. They just sit there, maybe not the best quality camera, or it's nowadays you can make an okay video without making much effort because the technology is so good, but they don't try and evolve their channel. They don't give anything extra. They don't seem to be people you'd really want to go for a drink with or be stuck in a bar with. So these are the type of people you've got in the community. The other thing, of course, I will get onto fragrances that I actually like in a minute, is just the people I've met or had interactions with. Sorry, but it attracts for very narcissistic people, very humorless people, people who have a very inflated opinion of themselves. I haven't met too many warm, kind, amusing, nice people, and then there are exceptions to this. So I mean, certainly the people I've met in person, I can name some exceptions. I've got a friend, GreggyBoy76 channel, doesn't upload much anymore, he's very busy. Great person, really like him. Smurfy Girly, Claire from the Smurfy Girly channel, lovely person. But I have met a few other people at the odd event and thought, not too sure about you. And I'm afraid some of the online interactions you have with people where they get the hump with you about something, or you mention them in a video and they weren't entirely gushing over them, and they really fancy themselves as some kind of celebrity. Well, you're not. You're just a fragrance YouTuber, and you ain't that much of a big deal. So really some very, very average or below average human beings, I'm afraid, making these YouTube channels. And YouTube, I guess, does attract maybe some arseholes naturally, because you might be a bit big-headed or want to get attention and stuff. But there's something about the fragrance world. There's some real geeky, weird men who think they're a big deal. The female ones, actually, I don't. You can't fault some of the more glamorous female channels. At least they have a little bit of on-screen presence. Okay, so that's me venting. Horrible person, aren't I? There you go. Is it sour grapes? Probably yes. My channel's doing okay. Actually, yes, so to be honest with you, and by the way, a great fragrance you might want to check out, any of mine would be great, but maybe Gravitas Pour Homme from Norton and Wilson would be a superb choice for autumn and winter. And Chypre Fulminare has got some incredible... This is an absolute banger. Chypre Fulminare, Norton and Wilson. Check it out in the link in the description. My own brand. It's not a YouTuber brand. I just happen to be involved with it and have been the co-founder of it. But we're not really a YouTuber brand in the traditional sense of the word. We like to think. Link in description. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, my 2020... To be honest with you, I'm not... Some people were saying, do you seem sad after the last video? Are you okay? I'm fine. I do actually enjoy doing this channel, and my life actually is okay at the moment. I've got out a bit more 2023. Finally got out of my cocoon, my bunker here. Went for a holiday for the first time in years with a good friend, a male friend. And let's just say there have been a few other personal developments or occurrences within my life that have been very surprising and very pleasant. So I'm actually in an okay place. Don't worry about me. And I will continue with the channel, but I need to do something different. I need a new type of fragrance channel or Fragrances Plus. Let's talk about fragrances. Check this bad boy out. Le Troisième Homme de Caron by the House of Caron. Under the radar kind of French brand. People forget about these guys. 1985 release. Japanese perfumer, a woman. I've forgotten her name. Incredible, sort of a fougere or spicy aromatic. It is green, it is woody, it has spices, it has a clove note. Some people say there's too much clove. I don't smell that much clove. Cloves, vetiver, patchouli, green, bitter, citrusy notes, very rich, very complex. It puts me in the same mood maybe as things like Bois de Portugal, my favourite from Creed, but it's got its own character. Wonderful and reasonably priced, great fragrance. Le Troisième Homme de Caron, weird name. I love that fragrance, great for this time of year because it's kind of warming. And another one you got to check out from the indie niche brand by the great former chef Manuel Cross, the perfumer here, American brand, I believe. Chypre Siam, okay, Chypre Siam from Rogue Perfumery, amazing classic Chypre with a twist of exoticism. So you've got the incense, the green bitter, oak moss accord, the classic Chypre structure, and this one just a tad more rich and a tad more incense leaning than some of your typical classic fougères, Chypre fragrances such as Guerlain's Mitsuko, but it's almost like a sort of weirdly brilliant flanker to Mitsuko from Guerlain, and I think it's an amazing old school classic. Men or women can wear either of these two, I think. And finally, we've got Acqua di Parma, one of the more affordable niche brands. Haven't used this for a little bit of dust there. And this is Colonia Intensa. It has that classic citrus that they're famous for, the Italian brand of Acqua di Parma. It's got ginger, lovely ginger and vetiver combination. And it is really, really just beautiful. Shades of Creed spice and wood. but it does its own thing at a fraction of the price. So there's 3 great ones for this time of year. Sorry to all the other YouTubers who don't watch my channel, who I've implicitly slagged off and thrown under the bus, but I really don't like what you do. Thank you very much, guys. We will see you in the next video. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project, and although sometimes life can stink, at least we can always smell good. Bye-bye.